Good morning, Austin, and welcome to the Atheist Experience. My name is Ray Blevins, my co-host Joe Zamecki, and today's guest, John Koonz. This is March 15th. If you're watching it live on March 15th, feel free to call in. We'll be getting to your calls here shortly. But first off, let me go through some of our events here that we have for the Atheist community of Austin. The next lectures in our lecture series will be March 29th. That's at Furr's Cafeteria there in North Cross Mall. And it'll be by John, I forgot his name already. Jay Jacobson. I almost called him John. Jay Jacobson with the ACLU. Very interesting discussion about how we changed the God oath that was previously required by all jurors and things like that. And other church-state separation issues. And he's a very entertaining lecture there, and it's free and open to the public. Come on out. March 30th will be our movie night at Alamo Draft House. I understand that's our discount now. Is that $1?
I believe so.
I forget what the exact price is, but that's our discount night, and we're going down there as a group. Another thing we'd like to mention is our blood drive, which will be happening April 11th at the Regional Blood Center, which is on Lamar. And that's a Saturday. From what I understand, they're open from 10 to 2 that day. And if you just go on down and tell them that you're donating for the Atheist community of Austin, then our group will then get credit for that. And if anybody in our group ever needs it, hopefully nothing serious will ever happen to our group, we will have the blood on hand there. And then we also have another announcement here. It has to do with the 4th Annual Atheist Alliance Convention. Excuse me. Should have brought some water here. The Gateway to Free Thought, April 10th through the 12th, 1998. That's in St. Louis, right?
Missouri. Mm-hmm.
St. Louis, Missouri. That you can definitely get information through the Atheist Alliance, or through the American Atheists, right?
No, the National Society of St. Louis.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. I'm sorry, Joe. Get on camera and then I forget everything I was supposed to say here. Let's go on down the line, though. Joe has a couple things he'd like to discuss, and then we'll get to John here in just a minute. Here, John.
Yeah, we wanted to make a clarification, actually. From a couple of weeks ago, we got a question about the In God We Trust on our money. And I wanted to correct that we had mistakenly said that on coins as well as dollars in 1956, that the phrase "In God We Trust" was put on those, and we need to clarify that it wasn't in 1956 for the coins, but in 1866 for the coins. So "In God We Trust" began to appear on selected U.S. coins in 1866. It was not printed on U.S. paper currency until 1955, when Congress Public Law number 140 made it mandatory. So to clarify that. 1866 for coins, and in 1955 for the paper money. So that's clarification on that. You want to go on with that, or something else, or what?
Well, let's go on to the religion, because it looks like we got callers coming in. Hang in there, callers. We'll get to the callers. John has excellent points here on the Religious Freedom Amendment that's been coming, that actually passed the Judicial Committee, is what I understand.
House review.
House review. Okay. You go right ahead.
First of all, let me go ahead and read what the ISTUC Religious Freedom Amendment says, so that we're all clear on what that's about. What it says is, to secure the people's right to acknowledge God according to the dictates of conscience, neither the United States nor any state shall establish any official religion, but the people's right to pray and to recognize their religious beliefs, heritage, and traditions on public property, including schools, shall not be infringed. Neither the United States nor any state shall require any person to join in prayer or other religious activity, prescribe school prayers, discriminate against religion, or deny equal access to a benefit on account of religion. And when you first read that, I think that most people I've talked to think that, well, that sounds pretty good. That sounds like it's bolstering up the liberties we already take for granted in the United States. But in fact, it really does nothing of the sort. This amendment right here, should it continue to pass along through and actually become law of the land, will basically neuter the First Amendment. And there's several reasons for recognizing that there's a problem here. First of all, the First Amendment already does an adequate job of protecting liberty.
True.
There's simply no reason to amend the Constitution to provide religion with any more protection than it already has. It's fairly easy for somebody to start up a church if they feel the need for one. We have more religious liberty in this country than probably any other country in the entire world that's ever existed. In fact, what I see in public schools, most of the misinformation that we get about religious liberty in the public school doesn't come from atheist organizations or humanist organizations. In fact, what it does, it comes from the theocratic right and organizations like the Rutherford Institute, who have spread the misinformation that students are not allowed to carry Bibles, wear religious jewelry, religious T-shirts, or learn about religion at all in the school. This simply is not the case. The First Amendment already protects the right of children to wear religious jewelry, pray. They can have Bible study time in the cafeteria in the morning. They can pray before tests. They can pray in the hallway. They can wear religious T-shirts. There's really nothing to stop them from doing that. The problem comes in when they're trying to use their religion on a captive audience, and that's really where the problem comes in. And yes, religion can be taught about objectively in the public school. There's nothing to stop a teacher from talking about the history of a religious idea, the history of a religious movement. And also the separation of state and church has allowed Americans to live in relative peace and tranquility for 200 years. In a public school classroom, I have more ethnic and religious diversity in one class than there are in some entire countries. And I have seen on many occasions a Jewish kid working with a Muslim kid as lab partners. I've seen that several different times. I've seen Jehovah's Witness working with a Baptist. In other parts of the world, these people would be killing each other. And why they're not doing that here is because we have religious liberty. We tolerate diversity, more than tolerate. We expect diversity. And I really don't think that's something that needs to be tampered with. The First Amendment would be nullified by this Religious Freedom Amendment because what it would do is and the First Amendment has two clauses, the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. What the Religious Freedom Amendment would do would be to do away with the Establishment Clause in favor of the Free Exercise Clause. In other words, students would be allowed to do all their religious activities. There's nothing that would protect the minority religious viewpoints or philosophical viewpoints from the tyranny of the majority.
Exactly. That's a good point.
And I'll just give you some examples of some things that I know would happen if the Religious Freedom Amendment was to become the law of the land. An assembly could be called in which children are heard misleading and potentially dangerous information about sex education. For instance, condoms. They might hear that condoms can't stop AIDS virus. And this information may be coming from a religious organization, and they may be saying this in association with saying that sex is bad, and that people that have sex before they're married are evil and sinners. And of course that would do nothing for the psyches of the poor kids who are sitting there whose parents may not be married. A guest speaker may come into a suburban high school biology class, an honors biology class, and talk about creationism and try to push a creationist viewpoint, a strictly Christian religious viewpoint to kids as real science. A group of students may be allowed to use the school's public address system to pray to their exclusively Christian religion over the morning announcements. Student Bible Club may be allowed to cover the office window with their religious T-shirts, thereby giving the air of authority to their particular brand of evangelical Christianity. A science teacher may be allowed to tell kids that a soul actually exists that will live beyond the death of the individual. A pregnant teenager may be considering an abortion, a legal abortion, and a group of Christian coaches may come in and harass the kid in a small, tight closed room for hours at length, harassing her over her sinning ways. A science teacher may refuse to teach evolution because it conflicts with their personal religious views. Or a teacher applying for a transfer or job may be asked about his religion. And if you think these things are just hypothetical, they're not. They're taken from personal experience in the public school. These things have already happened. And what in each case has been, has allowed us to stop this is the First Amendment to the Constitution.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the camera there. We had we're having technical difficulties. You're doing an excellent job. Continue, please.
Another thing that this Religious Freedom Amendment would do, it would establish in our country a de facto Christian theocracy. Now, when you read that Religious Freedom Amendment, it doesn't say anything about Christianity. But we have to be realistic. What's the majority religion is Christianity, and what it would do would be allow kids to come into the classroom and begin praying and begin prayer things during homeroom periods and such like that. Now, what'll happen here is you can expect if this was to pass that you won't see as many adults in the school bringing Bibles in at first, but they'll be using their own children to bring in Bibles, to bring in creationism, to bring in bad information on human sexuality, and they'll use their own children to push these viewpoints. Also, the Religious Freedom Amendment will allow for religious schools to receive our tax money that we're all paying. And the private religious schools, you have to understand, don't have to meet the same requirements that the public school meets. If we have a kid that comes into the public school and he needs a wheelchair and he can't get to the bathroom the way it is, we have to tear out some walls and put in a ramp, whatever we have to do. We have to spend the money, and we have to make the building accessible to that particular child. Every single child that comes into the public school has to be able to be educated in the least restrictive manner possible. The private religious schools do not have this obligation. They can simply refuse to admit the kid at all. I know this because I've filled out or seen being filled out the applications for some of our students who transfer to private schools. And they'll ask all kinds of questions on their applications about their character, about their discipline record, and such like that. It will basically chop out anybody that they don't want to have to pay for. And your tax money will end up supporting that. Also, and this may seem like a stretch, but I once heard, I think it was on the American Atheist show, the guy Ron Barrier, I believe is the media guy, and he called this the Santa Claus effect, the Miracle on 34th Street effect, where in that fictional movie, of course, that Santa Claus was given legitimacy because, well, the post office delivered letters to him, and since he got mail, he must exist. Well, this Religious Freedom Amendment, in a way, does the same thing. It gets God in the back door, I think is how he described it, in that in the very first sentence of it, to secure the people's right to acknowledge God. It just made a God a reality. It didn't, it doesn't have any room there for the fact that there's no evidence to support the existence of a God. So what that's going to do is, of course, make anything possible as far as the God talk goes. If that seems like a stretch, I think most atheists can think about how many times have you been told by a Christian that, well, this is a Christian country because it says, in God we trust on the money.
Yes, we hear that often.
And
yes.
We all hear that. Well, that is, in effect, that is the Santa Claus in effect right there.
So we're trying to do, educate the people exactly what this really, it sounds so innocent. And it's these innocent little things like this, once they get in there, then the religious groups, the religious right, as not a better word, but the religious right, they can take this little toehold and then expand on it. Once they get this in here, what's the,
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to use the word religious right, and sometimes I still slip up and do, but I've actually come to prefer the term theocratic right.
There you go. I like that.
I've just been reading a book that I'm not actually finished with. It's called Without a Prayer by Robert S. Alley. And he goes through in his book, and he goes through and talks about various instances around the country where religious liberties have been infringed upon. And what's interesting about this is many of the stories, they're not atheists that are being attacked for their religion. They're Church of God, Assembly of God, Baptists, Catholics, a variety of religious faiths where they are the minority in the community, become an easy target for the tyranny of the majority. And that's a phrase actually used by Madison, not made up by dirty little atheists. It's actually a term.
Yes, I've read that. Okay, we actually lost our first caller. Sorry, Jack. I see you're no longer. Oh, Jack's back.
Jack's back.
Okay, let's try and see what Jack has. Is he talking? Well, we got two flashing and one's not. Well,
I think we're going to go with line one.
Okay, try.
Oop. We're getting major feedback here. Sorry, I had.
In there, Jack.
Try again, folks. I had to cut them both off there because we had major feedback there.
The monitor down?
Again, let me say, we might have lost the phones here, but please try. The number is 472-2255. This is March 15th, and we're live March 15th. If you're out there, feel free to call. We'll try. I see the phones flashing. Let me remind you, folks, that our voicemail number is 371-2911. If you can't get through today and would like to leave a comment or find out more about the atheist community of Austin, we do meet every Sunday at the Hot Jumble Bakery. After we leave, once the show's done here, we'll be heading down there. We'll get down there about 11. It's a free-form social gathering to where we talk about current events and what's out there. Shall we try the phones again? I see we got someone on there. Let me give it a try.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me.
You got two lines on at once?
No, we're getting
Turn the TV down.
No, it's not the TV.
No, my TV's down.
It's the monitor. Let me put you on hold. Kellen, we're getting feedback from the monitor. I'm really sorry about that. Hang in there, Jack, and we'll play around.
Tyler. You can't even hear.
Tell
Tyler, we're getting monitor feedback. Turn down the monitor.
Can we turn down the monitor?
Thank you. And hang in there, callers. It's live TV, and you never know what's going to happen. Hang in there. We got a few bugs to work out. I do want to remind the viewers from last week, we were talking about the gentleman in Garland, Texas, that says God's coming on a spaceship March 31st, 1998. We'll be counting down. We'd like to meet him in person, so if God does show up on the spaceship, we'd love to have him on the show.
Absolutely.
We'll have a chair.
Yes, we will definitely make room for God if he shows up March 31st. Okay, we're going to try the phones one more time here. Please bear with us, listeners. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Fantastic.
Sounds like they got it under control there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I do appreciate your help.
Hey, it's good to see the atheist community alive and well in Austin.
Thank you.
Good thing. I'm glad I am not alone.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
I have a problem here.
Sure.
The Baptist church where Charles Bullock is the pastor, it's on Kramer Lane.
Mm-hmm.
The precinct where I vote just happens, or the polls are in his church.
And go ahead, sorry.
There are people in the parking lot passing out their religious literature or their right-wing practices, and I didn't actually...
There is a limit on how close they can get to the polls. Are they, was it 50 feet?
I thought it was 100. They were much closer.
There is a measurement written down in the law on how close they can hand out literature to the polling. The best thing I can suggest is you get video of them actually doing that.
But doesn't that just cover electioneering
Yeah, I was
and not
going to say,
religious?
they may be able to get around that.
Do they talk about the campaigners at all, the electors?
I'm
election?
not sure because I avoided the place. I didn't even vote in the primary because of it. I moved into
I'm sorry, caller. We've now lost the caller in here in the monitor. I can't hear him. Hang in there, Rick. I really appreciate you bearing with us.
Okay.
There, you're back. Okay, Rick, go ahead. What would you say?
Anyway, I'm looking to go early voting next time because I can do that at the mall. I don't have to worry about going there. But they are in the parking lot of the Annex building passing this stuff out.
And what exactly are they passing out?
And anti-gay stuff, just their radical beliefs.
Anything to do with electioneering, though?
Well, they have all the signs out in the lawn area there, for all their political candidates that they endorse pretty much. And none of the signs I saw were Democrats, by the way, and I know that I think it's 100 feet within a voting poll.
Exactly. There is a measurement. I don't know the exact footage.
But I would certainly get a video camera next election day and tape some of this and try
Thank
to
you.
get some of the literature itself.
Tell us how that goes. We'd love to
And collect
hear about
collect whatever it is that they're handing out. They can probably get away with that so long as
I would not hesitate to file a lawsuit against them if they are doing this. And I wonder who I would go to do this. I called the voting commission and complained about it. And the guy there was just a dumb redneck, apparently, supportive of them, and he just blew me off pretty much.
But I don't know if the ACLU would handle something.
They'd be interested in hearing about it at least, and may be able to give you some advice.
Maybe I could go to the city council or something.
Come down to our lecture March 29th, and Jay Jacobson will be there discussing exactly that topic there. Maybe that would be a good point. Maybe it'd be a good time to bring up that question.
Okay, you want to give me that information?
Say again?
The information for the...
Repeat it.
It's March 29th. Furs Restaurant, which is on North Cross Mall, and it'll start at 11 o'clock. And
11 a.m.
Yeah, 11 a.m. Since it's a restaurant there and everything else, we let everybody go through the line and eat first. So the lecture won't start exactly 11 o'clock. Everybody gets there at 11, and we try to get the lecture started like 11:30, 11:45, and try to get everybody back out by 1 o'clock, hopefully is what the plan is. But John Koonz had a lecture there, and it went on for several hours. We had a lecture about evolution. John Koonz is a science teacher, he did an excellent lecture on evolution, and we had it went on for a good 2 or 3 hours. Then all the questions and discussion and debating and everything else. So, any other questions or comments, Rick?
No, I look forward to being there, and I will be there.
All right.
Good to see all y'all on the air, and keep it up.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You have a good day, too. And I've been asked to remind callers to turn down their TV when they do call in. We having feedback and everything else. This is March 15th. We're live. Call. Like I said, if you're hesitant about getting on the air live, we do have voicemail, 371-2911. We have a web page. Go ahead. You're good at that?
Yeah, the webpage. Get ready. Here it comes. www.atheist-community.org. We'll be saying that again a little later. Can I give a plug real quick to the...
You sure can.
Okay.
Joe is also a member of American Atheists. So we...
I just want to give a little quick plug for our 24th National Convention in Washington, D.C. It's going to be June 12 through 14, 1998. It's going to be commemorating the 35th anniversary of the U.S. Supreme Court decision in the historic Murray versus Curlett case. And it's going to be an atheist bash. It's going to be great. I'll be there.
And you brought an interesting article because one of the callers last week asked about atheist hospitals and things like that. And schools. And you brought up an interesting article here.
Responding to a question we got last week, I believe. The question was, where are the atheist hospitals or atheist schools paid for, brought about, and built by atheists? And I guess they were looking for a hospital that said Atheist General Hospital.
Yes.
Well, there are several reasons why you don't see that in many places, in most places, in fact, in the U.S. And one story, in fact, I want to turn into a short segment every week, a story about unsung atheist heroes. And this comes out of the 1998 Wall Calendar for American Atheists, and it's from May, although we're skipping a month here or two. It's about Stephen Girard, a man who lived 1750 to 1831. And real quick, I want to try to get this in just a minute here. He was born in Bordeaux, France, of a poor couple who could not provide him with an education, so all he learned was through his own efforts. Although blind in his right eye from childhood, he was hired as a cabin boy when about 10 years old, and worked so diligently the captain promoted him to mate, then to command of a small vessel. He began speculating on futures, and always made a profit. He came to Philadelphia in 1769, continuing as a captain and merchant, and with his profits bought more businesses and more ships, naming them after Voltaire, Montesquieu, Helvetius, and Rousseau, his favorite authors. In 1793, yellow fever spread throughout Philadelphia. Those yet unaffected fled the city, and the sick were left to die unattended. Stephen Girard went from door to door, tending to deserted sick people. Once the panic was over, he went back to work, earning millions of dollars before he died. And he left $10 million for public works, not a penny, however, to any church. His funeral was unattended by the clergy. Yes. One section of his will was set up for a college or a boys' school for orphans, into which no clergyman was allowed to enter. This led to a challenge in court to allow religion on the campus, but the court upheld Stephen's will. The religionists found another way around the restriction, however. The will said no minister, so they forced the boys to attend 2 prayer sessions Monday through Saturday, with 3 on Sunday, all led by different religious laymen. Thus did the religionists thwart Stephen's will and obtain the $2 million he had given for the establishment of a secular school. This is just one example of how very often when an atheist does come across this much money in their lifetime and wants to be a philanthropist and donate it or start up a school or a hospital or something else like that, very often the biggest challenge is religion.
Like I said, we'll point it out again, that's part of the reason for the atheist community of Austin is to increase the visibility of atheists. Let the community know that we're real people. We have good hearts. We're out there trying to do good things. A lot of people, when they think atheists, they think Satanists. We get this all the time. We don't believe in heaven. We don't believe in hell. So we can't. We're not out there worshiping Satan and all this other stuff. We tried. We was at the AIDS Walk. What was
the Victims' Rights Bill?
Right. The hate crime march. We was at the hate crime march. So we tried to do.
Well.
We've been pointed out we didn't make it to any of the precinct party meetings after the votes there, but we're getting better. We're trying to get politically active. We have members in our group that are trying to get us guided politically, and we do appreciate all the education and everything else. So let's try to call her again, and he's coming in with the name of One Time.
Let's go for it.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Good afternoon. It is morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to just comment on the community itself of Austin.
Sure.
I've been here since '90, so I really can't complain. But I've been watching people see things and don't say anything. I mean, I don't care about what neighborhood you're in. You can be in any neighborhood.
Right.
White, black, it doesn't make no difference. But once you see somebody, and I know you see somebody doing certain things in certain areas, I mean, it could be minor or it could be major. I wish people would just say something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can do whatever. But you ain't got to tell that person directly, or you can just go to the phone and call somebody. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're talking about when you see injustice or...
Injustice in any neighborhood. Like, I'm going to give you a prime example.
Sure.
Friday was the 13th. Some fool put sugar in my tank. I have a 1975 convertible drop, Grand DeVille. Some fool poured a whole thing of sugar down the tank. And they had the nerve to put the cap back on. So, it was done early in the morning, but I know good and well somebody's seen it in the area. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry for your misfortune there, and I'm not 100% sure this would be the correct forum for that.
It's the correct forum. I mean, we all together. Y'all atheists, y'all people, y'all
sure.
telling what y'all want to tell. And I know y'all looking out as well as other people looking out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know you won't let nothing happen to the guy next to you. You know what I'm saying? If you came through his neighborhood, he was just there. You would say, "Oh, I see that guy." You would report it, but you report it in a respectful manner. I can understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all I'm saying is to your group and every other group that do anything. If you put it this way, if you are a person, you should respect another person regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
That's what's wrong with the world today. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They don't respect that next person.
And that's part of what we're trying to do at the Atheist community of Austin is take part in the community in a positive way through blood drives and AIDS Walk and some of the other things we've talked about doing.
There you go. Because we are one person if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want to do, but we all bleed.
Exactly. We're all humans on this earth.
Yeah. If we call ourselves humans, some people are not there.
Okay. You have a good day now.
All right.
Good call.
Yes. So if the control booth's ready, I think this might be a good time to...
Keith, can we cue up that
the video
talent spotting segment?
So what we're going to try to do is showcase some of the talent that's in the group, and Joe Zamecki is part of a band. Oh, sorry to hear that.
It's so long to get this on TV that we've broken up since.
But this is a music video from the band Dave Bone and the Troublemakers, and you'll see Joe there on the drums. So if they're ready in the control booth, I guess we're ready in here. That was Dave Bone and the Troublemakers. Dave Bone actually wrote that song. That was Joe on the drums. Excellent job.
Thank you.
You sure that was him? It looked a lot more like Neil Peart.
My favorite.
Yes. And yeah, you commented while the video was going on. You had
A couple things I wanted to say about some of the things we talked about before. First of all, there was a lot of talk about what have atheists done for the community, not necessarily our group, but atheists in general. And I'd like to point out that most atheist groups, although they may do some good things for the community, aren't really organized to do good things for the community. One of their main functions, in many of the ones I know of, is to fight for state-church separation. So asking what an atheist organization has done for the community in terms of positive things to help people out, like blood drives, is kind of like asking, how come a car manufacturer doesn't make, I don't know, bigger cereal boxes with more Cheerios in it? It doesn't make any sense. And the second thing I like to say is I did take part in a precinct after election precinct resolution passing and voting and discussion, and I was pretty horrified that there was only 4 other people there, and I knew how the Christian Coalition operates by taking over precinct by precinct, by bringing in a busload of people and passing whatever resolutions they want just by sheer numbers. But it really struck home when I was sitting there with 3 or 4 other people, and I was able to get a resolution passed against this Istook Religious Freedom Amendment in my precinct. But I had to explain the purpose of it to people, and I was able to get them to unanimously vote for it. But it was really shocking to me that there's only 3 or 4 other people there, and it's kind of frightening.
well, when the atheists speak up, they're actually speaking up for all religions. They're not just speaking up for the atheists in general. When we fight for separation of church and state and everything else, that leaves the freedom out there for you guys and churches to form your own church, to start your own new religion. You can go out there and start your own religion tomorrow if you really wanted to. Start your own church and everything else, and that's because of our efforts that we're making out there. But there's other things that we can claim that we really can't be proud for. And since it's Sunday morning, I won't say it, but the fact that they're allowed to say GD on the radio, that you could say because the separation of church and state and religion and everything else. So it's not something we can be proud of, but but you can't. It is a matter of free speech, yes. But
We lost it.
let me remind you again, folks, this is March 15th. We're live. That's the number. Feel free to call. We're at the Atheist Community of Austin. We meet every Sunday at Hot Jumble Bakery, which is down at 5th and Lavaca. That's West 5th and Lavaca.
Yeah, about 10:30 in the morning.
10:30, 11 is when we start, and it's free form. You come on down, meet the people, talk. The people that come down, we're not debating the existence of God at these meetings. This is a social gathering. The people there have already got past the point whether or not there is a God. We're there to discuss current events and how atheists are, the trouble that we have in our lives and everything. Because a lot of times, you feel persecuted bringing out the fact that you are an atheist at your place of work, your school, anything like that. A lot of times you're afraid to even admit that you are an atheist because most of the time you're outnumbered. So if you just want a place to go to where you can express your atheist viewpoints without fear of being put down, laughed at, this would be the perfect opportunity for you. And we're always, like I say, it's free, open to the public. We love seeing the new faces. And also, Joe asked me to remind you, in case there's any KLBJ listeners out there, I am Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
So if I have any KLBJ fans, feel free to call in. We'll talk about anything you want there.
Sure.
But
real quick, can I say,
sure.
If you're an atheist and you're watching, please call us. We also like to talk to you. It's a show for you and all other atheists.
I also noticed on our email circle lately there's been a lot of new people showing up on the email. And so if you're out there and you've been just recently got in touch with us and are typing in things to us all, please come on down to the bagelry, and we'd like to meet you.
Say a couple of words about
Sure.
that. We're talking about freedom in America, freedom of religion and freedom of religious expression. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, there's already plenty of religious freedom in the United States. The First Amendment guarantees that well enough. I really don't think there's any need to change it. And the RFA, as it's worded and as I read it, self-contradictory, first of all, but it is thinly veiled attempt by Christians to put school prayer back in the schools. Forced prayer is what it is, because in many school districts in the country, there's already plenty of religion going on in the public schools every day. And I actually understand there's a couple of school districts who never changed a thing after 1963. To this day, still have prayers over the intercoms every day.
And this Religious Freedom Amendment has been kicked around for quite a while and has passed through many revisions as they've been trying to come up with a version that's that they hope Istook and his Christian Coalition buddies will get past the Supreme Court and to Congress and all the steps it has to take to actually become the law of the land. So it's a process, and they've been working on it for quite a long time.
I'd also like to point out with the Religious Freedom Amendment that would actually give full rights to the City Council's prayer, which is one thing we've been doing, a letter writing campaign and everything else. They open the City Council every time with a prayer, and they have different religious people coming in to do that prayer and everything else. This RFA, Religious Freedom Amendment, would then make that perfectly legal and acceptable. And that's one thing we would like to definitely see stop. For our tax paying money to go for the city council to be even doing this, they're taking time out of reporting issues just so they could sit around and listen to someone pray to a invocation to some supernatural being out there to give them strength and everything else. And we feel that the strength comes from the person within, that your character and everything else is right here in the room, and we'll make the decision. We do have a caller waiting in line here. Let's see if we can try this. Good morning, caller.
Hey guys, how y'all doing this morning?
Real good.
Pretty good?
Yes.
I just had a question for y'all. I've watched y'all a couple times now, and y'all do an excellent job. Y'all are extremely intelligent. It seems to be, to me, to be that y'all are extremely open-minded, and I'm not trying to debate you here or anything, but I think y'all probably value open-mindedness, and I'm not trying to catch y'all up or anything. I just would like to hear what you have to say about it. I don't understand. I truly don't understand why you don't carry your open-mindedness open into the area of considering if there's a God or not, and how you can make the jump to the total jump to that there is no God. And I don't really want to debate totally on that. I just want to see how y'all make that.
No, that's an excellent question. That's the reason we're here, and that's an excellent question. You want to start, Joe?
Yeah, I kept an open mind half my life when I was being indoctrinated into it, and I basically had to, but it's not out of spite that I closed it, and I certainly didn't close it. I think most atheists do have an open mind with regards to things like this. It's just that how open is a point of definition. I think it's important for people to have a criteria in their mind set of exactly what they're going to accept. And if you're going to accept things that are wildly outrageous and absolutely unsubstantiated by any fact or any reality, then that's too open. I'm sorry.
Right.
There's a naivety involved there. But we do study religion and the different claims. Not all atheists, but I spent most of my life studying it from one perspective or another, several different kinds of religion, mostly Christianity, of course. But what I found is that they're all basically the same. Fairy tale backed up by absolutely no evidence that is even credible at all, nothing to even suggest the existence of a God, other than a bunch of talk. And anybody can say anything in this beautiful country of ours, first of all. which means that millions of people can lie and lie to themselves. I don't want to say that, I don't want to be offensive to that or anything, but as an atheist, we can't accept something that is an outrageous claim without any specific proof at all, with none. So
yeah, I appreciate the fact that it came across that we keep an open mind. I would love for the religious people out there to open their mind to the facts and the science and everything else that's out there, but I try to keep an open mind, and I listen to anybody that will give me a rational, debate. I will listen to. I will keep an open mind for that. But at the same time, I would like for them to keep an open mind to how the Bible can, because a lot of these people saying that's a divine instrument, and how it actually came into the present form that we have now. It's all man-made.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I wouldn't call up another show that I've seen in the past because you're not going to get anywhere with them. They're not even going to listen to you. And I was brought up in a Southern Baptist church my whole life, and didn't really go back much till after I was about 16 or 17. And I know how it's a losing cause to even try to discuss anything.
Exactly.
And that's the reason I called you, to compliment you on that, because I know I can call you without putting you on the defensive immediately, and that you'll at least listen. And my question was legitimate, and I was just kind of curious to see what you had to say about that.
John, you have anything?
I have something I'd add to that, and that is that atheism is really the default position. It's living without reference to religion and the supernatural and gods and goddesses and such. And until there's any evidence produced that there are such supernatural beings, then I have to intellectually, in all intellectual honesty, have to remain an atheist. Now, the day comes along when they can show me that there's a God and produce the extraordinary evidence that it would take to support that extraordinary claim. That would be different. But I don't think most atheists got into being atheists because they were necessarily against a religion or God idea. They were just trying to find out what was real out there, and that was the default position that I had to adopt to like I said, maintain intellectual honesty.
If I could ask one more question before I go. Given all that, does anybody up there hold the belief that whatever you think is kind of your self-fulfilling prophecy, or your whatever is going on in your head will manifest itself in the physical world? And if so, if you're holding in your mind that there is no God, and you continually say that, you're going to wake up. To me, you're going to wake up every morning and you're going to look for reasons to prove to yourself that there is no God, and you'll never have the eyes to see God if there is one. And if people that believe that there is a God are going to wake up every day to prove to themselves that, and look for instances to prove to themselves that there is God. Do you think that maybe you're limiting yourself because of your strong stand on that there is no God?
To some extent, that's part of human nature, that everybody's going to do that to some extent. It'd be dishonest to say that nobody will do that. But at the same time, what we use is the scientific method, and the scientific method shows over and over again how even seemingly crazy ideas can become accepted. So even what may seem like the crazy idea of a God existing could become accepted if there was ever any evidence to show it. So we would, in order to say that we would necessarily reject a God idea, we would have to first see that there was evidence of that, and then see if we do or don't reject it.
Okay.
Well, I really appreciate your call. It was a very intelligent call, but we have several backing up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can somebody shut that door? We're actually getting a feedback when John's on the phone from the control room there. I appreciate it. Line 2 is John. Good morning, caller. Whoop.
Call back, John. Please. Ouch.
Oh, shoot. I hit the wrong button, John.
That might be him on warning.
It's really one of the... Yes. We're on down to Mike.
Nope, okay.
Hang on. No. John?
Hello?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Quickly, yes.
Hi.
Question.
Okay. I wanted to tell y'all, if y'all wanted to know, on the ACLU webpage, there is a opportunity for people to email their congressman about the Atheist Religious Freedom Amendment.
Fantastic.
And they can just go to that webpage and email. It prints a letter out for them, and it emails their congressman, and they can get their views represented or whatever reflected to their congressman. and it's really important. And it's an opportunity. It's really easy. It takes a few seconds, and you might want to tell your callers or your listeners that.
Is that aclu.com maybe?
Yeah, that's it. Or
Okay.
.org.
.org. Yeah. Okay. I took a guess.
We have that on our website too, John.
We have a link.
We have a link.
I think that's what we have on our website too, where they're looking for comments.
Yeah, because it's it's really important, and our congressman needs to know how we feel out there.
Actually, Istook. Boy, what's up with him, right?
That's it's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine this thing ever really going through, but we have to voice our opinions too.
Yes.
Washington, if we sit back and say nothing, that would be bad.
I appreciate your call.
All right, thanks, bye.
Have a good day. We're moving on down to Dustin.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was wondering what were the reasons y'all became atheists for?
Quickly.
We'll do it quick because we get this question a lot. I was, in my own personal experience, I was totally offended by the hypocrisy of the religion. I was baptized in the Methodist Church, and they were more concerned about who gave what, how much money. They had the best church in town, had the biggest organ in town, had 20,000 some odd pipes, and who gave what and everything else. And I was just so offended by the hypocrisy of the church. How about you, Joe?
Well, I was raised in a Roman Catholic family, going to church and private Catholic schools, 2 different schools for 9 years up until 8th grade. And about 7th grade, they started teaching us physical science, and religion lost it from there.
But not one religion describes another religion.
Say again?
Not one religion describes all religions.
That's absolutely true. Jehovah's Witness, Baptist, I will not say that they're all the same. You can't stick, just like you can't stick all atheists into one group. But the closed-minded hypocrisy that I ran into just totally turned me off. And I'd like John to comment.
Actually, I set out to become a better religious person, and I just wasn't sure which of the competing religions, which are mutually exclusive, was the right one. When I honestly investigated them and opened my mind up to thinking critically about them, I realized that there wasn't anything to any of them, and ended up rejecting the whole thing.
Do you think maybe you didn't look far enough?
I'm really sorry. We're running short on time. We have a bunch of callers backed up. I do appreciate your call, though.
Okay.
And let's try John again. John?
Hey.
I'm really sorry to cut you off.
It's just the way you treat every new guy.
Yes. Thanks for your good spirit.
How y'all doing today?
Yes.
I just wanted to call and say hi. I'm one of the new guys on the list, and I've been watching your show for a couple of weeks now.
Oh.
Good deal.
Say howdy.
Very welcome.
What's the parking situation like down there at the Bakery?
Don't park in the old
Brugger's. Don't park in the old Brugger's place next door.
And then there's a parking garage right across the street.
Well, I think the best place is right along 5th Street and maybe down farther west on 5th Street. There's plenty of parking on Sunday mornings.
It's not bad at all.
Cool. So,
all right.
Joe.
The marathon will mess you up, though.
You take care now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, let's go on down the line to Sammy.
Hurry and please turn your...
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
Real good.
I just like to say, I like your show, man, about this whole atheism thing. But I'm like Roman Catholic, so I like to say,
You have a lot of people in the background there.
I know, man. They bothering me right now. No, I was like to say I like your show, man. It's pretty cool, and thank you. That's it. Bye.
Okay.
All right, thanks for the call. What did he say? Well, it doesn't matter what he said.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
Hello?
Whoa.
Okay.
We lost that caller. That's all right. Yes, go right ahead, Joe.
Okay, real quick, our website. Check it out. We have a website. It's amazing. www.atheist-community.org. Check it out. Voicemail?
Voicemail is 371-2911. Like I said, it's voicemail 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You feel free to call it. And we have another caller here, and we're running short on time, so let's go quickly here. Good morning, caller.
Hi. I'd like to say something about the Southern Baptist. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm a Roman Catholic.
Sure.
But I think that you have a right to believe or disbelieve anything you want, and there's a lot of people that support you in that. That's your choice. The Southern Baptist is really what turned me off to a lot of mainstream religion, even my own faith. I don't practice a lot of it anymore. I mean, we're talking about an organization that split from the American Baptist Church because they wouldn't give up their slaves.
Right.
Then they were institutional in, setting up the Jim Crow laws, segregation, and they stood over the balconies and galleries of state legislatures all throughout the South and threatened their legislatures to do what the church wanted them to do. And, I just want to know what y'all think about that, because they're supposed to be so pious and tell us all what to do, What do you think about the Southern Baptists?
Well, I hate really pinpointing any particular religion. We try. My own viewpoint is I group them all together. Roman Catholics.
I'd like to say something that
Sure.
This is where the Religious Freedom Amendment is so damaging, because when it allows any one group to come to power, including us for that matter, that when you have a tyranny of the majority, then you have the kind of abuses that you see with what you're talking about with that particular denomination. We don't want to see any group at all come to that much power.
I agree.
Okay, and we're running short on time here. I want to try to get all the callers we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we lost Heather there. Let's go to Andrea.
Andrea.
2. Good morning.
Hi. I totally agree with you on the hypocrisy in the churches that I've experienced also. But I'm just curious, what are your philosophies on what happens after death? Do you believe in reincarnation or nothing, or just nothing?
If somebody comes down and says they're an atheist, but they believe in and reincarnation and everything else, then they're not what we really consider a true atheist. We don't believe in any supernatural being or effect. It's just there's a lot out there that science cannot answer yet, but they're building and learning each and every day. So if there's some explained phenomena, it just is. There's no need to attach a supernatural explanation to it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And no, she said.
We already did it.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Heather. I just called, but my phone hung up accidentally.
Oh, sorry about that.
Anyway, I guess my question is something about your own spirit. Do you believe in your own spirit? You have a spirit? I mean, like, you don't?
There's no scientific basis for a soul or anything.
Well, well, see, I don't particularly believe in every religion either, or any particular religion. And I guess because I feel like myself connected with other people, and if I don't keep my spirit, above, a certain way, I get really depressed or something. I have to keep myself regenerated spiritually. And do you not believe in your own spirit? Or...
No,
how do you keep yourself... I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but...
That's all right. You need to turn your TV down or something. I think we're getting a feedback.
Okay, hold on.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you keep yourself...
It sounds like you're describing your emotional state, which everybody has emotions, of course.
Yeah.
As far as a soul, something ethereal outside of the physical reality of your body, we don't go for that. What we go with, basically what we accept, is what's been found in human beings, and the brain and the emotions and the mind. That's it. You don't have anything outside of reality or outside of physical in your body except for your own thoughts. But a soul is something. It's a fairy tale. It's make-believe.
But I do understand the fact that your mental outlook has a lot of effect on how your own physical being, well-being, and everything else. I consider myself a perpetual optimist. If you think good things are going to happen, usually and it's just as easy for someone to get into a perpetual pessimism. And once you start thinking how bad the world is, it'll turn out that way. So your mind is a very powerful thing, and your mental outlook has a lot to do with it. But we're running short on time. Please call back next week.
Okay.
Let me remind you, 9 to 10 Sunday mornings, channel 16, and that I just hung up on line 1, so I can't. Line 4. Good morning.
Hi. I was wondering. It seems that there are a high percentage of people who are Baptists in atheist organizations.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Do you think that there is a higher percentage of people who are Baptist versus people who used to be Baptist versus other religions?
I don't know. We did a survey on our website, and I don't think we've ever looked at that to see what.
That's an excellent question. We will investigate that more because we do have a lot. The Baptists have turned off a lot of people. I do agree with you on that.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Okay, you have a good day now, and please call again. Let's move on down to Charlie. Oh, well, we're quickly.
Very quickly. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, quickly. We're running out of time.
Wanted to call and thank you for the program. Back in 1961, I lost a job because I was an atheist in a small rural school. And keep up the good work. The information needs to get out. I hear young people calling you and saying some ideas and speaking some concepts that I had back then, along with a lot of other people. Madeline Murray's not around, so somebody needs to keep the faith, so to speak.
Come to our meetings on Sunday mornings.
All right, thanks for the humor there. Thanks. You take care. Last caller. Quickly, Jennifer.
I was just wondering if you take advantage of all the religious holidays, or do you just basically not work because nobody else is at work?
I try to work.
And we do volunteer for to work to fill in places where other people take religious holidays off. Right. We actually volunteer to cover for them, so like in the medical industry and everything else. But if it's a free paid holiday, I'll take it. I mean, if they're going to pay me to sit at home, I'm not going to turn down the money.
I just wanted to make sure that was the case.
All right. You take care. Okay, that's it for all the callers. We're definitely running out of time. We've had a great show here. American... yes.
That's us.
Atheist Community of Austin. Yes, I almost screwed up there, didn't I?
We're here 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sunday morning.
Every